Hello, my name is Cecilia Dobbs-Walton, and I'm the city's public affairs specialist. I'm here to deliver today's Be Prepared report. This is being recorded on Monday, July the 13th, 2020 at 2:45 in the afternoon. Today, the Mississippi State Department of Health reports a total of 36,680 cases of the coronavirus statewide and 1,250 deaths statewide. In the past 24 hours, 393 new cases of the coronavirus were identified and 2,058 new cases were reported since Friday, which is when the city's last video update was recorded. Also in the past 24 hours, 1 new death was reported statewide and 35 new deaths were reported since Friday. This chart shows the total number of positive tests since the crisis began. This chart shows the 14-day track on the cases statewide. In Harrison County, the State Department of Health reports we've seen 6 positive tests of the coronavirus in the past 24 hours, and 87 since Friday. This chart shows the Harrison County running 14-day average. See the red line? It continues to increase. Today was day 1 of the mandate for the public to wear a mask in public settings, such as when grocery shopping. Governor Reeves announced a new measure last week, along with a return of social distancing measures of groups of no more than 10 indoors or 20 outdoors. Yes, we received a call or two with people having questions about the new policy and wanting to know the fine for anyone not wearing a mask. This is a public health and personal safety mandate. We would hope that all businesses follow the guidelines. Essentially, everyone working in a business in Biloxi is supposed to be wearing a mask. That's been the guideline since May. Today, the difference is that everyone should now have a face covering when out in the public. So what's the penalty if you do not wear a mask? Besides either contracting or spreading the virus, you risk the lives of your family, your friends, and your co-workers. There is no enforcement mechanism in place for wearing a face mask at this time. However, a business could refuse to serve a person who refuses to wear a face mask, and police could charge the person with trespassing if they refuse to leave the business. But is that really where we want to go? We ask you to please wear a face covering. That is a covering over both your nose and mouth. And please think of others. As Mayor Gillish has said, this is not meant to infringe on anyone's rights under the Constitution. It's meant to treat others with respect in the way you would want to be treated. And speaking of the Constitution, this brings us to another very important issue. When the forefathers of our country, Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Franklin, and company, wrote the U.S. Constitution, they did so to guarantee the blessings of liberty to ourselves. They wrote the Constitution with all of our rights included, so that we might form a more perfect union. One of the most important things they agreed was that we needed to know who was being united. In fact, that's right there in Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution. And right now, in Biloxi, only 60% of the people the census knows about have responded to the census. That means Biloxi will be shortchanged on all types of funding: public services, emergency services, school funding, public transit, federal programs, and the list goes on and on. There is no good reason for Biloxi not to have a 100% response rate on the census. It takes only a few minutes, 8 or 9 minutes or so, and you can do it from the convenience of online. Go to this website, and all you need to do is fill in your address, and you'll be guided through a number of easy-to-answer questions. Please take a moment to do it. And if you know someone who doesn't have online access, please help them. That's our report for today. Please remember to mask up, Biloxi. We will see you again on Friday. We leave you today with a little more information on the U.S. Census, its importance, and the safety of the data collected.
What is the 2020 census? Every 10 years, the census records everyone living in this country. It's written in the Constitution and comes in a questionnaire that counts everyone who lives at your address on April 1st. The data can be used to inform funding for services like fire stations, schools, clinics, and representation that affect your community.
How will 2020 census data be used? Where there are more people, there are more needs for public services. That's why the census is used by the government to inform funding decisions each year. But that's not all. It's also used by nonprofits to inform services, by businesses to create jobs, and even by students for school projects. Understanding how the population changes helps us shape communities across the country for the better.
How does the 2020 census affect representation? There are 435 seats in the House of Representatives. These get distributed to the 50 states by population, and an accurate census response helps your state get the right amount of seats. States with smaller populations get at least one, while states with larger populations might get more.
How do I take the 2020 census? In March 2020, every address in the country will receive an invitation to complete a simple questionnaire. And there are 3 ways to respond. Number 1, do it online. Number 2, call by phone. Number 3, send it by mail. For those who don't respond, a census taker from your community will follow up and assist you.
Is my 2020 census data safe? After sending your census response, your personal information is kept safe. By law, it can't be shared with any other government agency, law enforcement, or landlord. No one. So take your 2020 census with peace of mind. Shape your future. Start here. Visit 2020census.gov.